My fiancé laughed. I put peanuts in your dinner to prove you're faking your allergy. You're just picky. As my throat swelled up, I texted, "Call 911. Then I handed the EMTs the food sample and filed a police report for assault with a deadly weapon. When the officers arrested her in the ER waiting room, this happened 18 months ago. Writing it all out now because I finally feel ready to tell the whole story. I'm 29, was engaged to Lisa, 27. Notice I said was. We'd been together 2 years, engaged for 4 months, wedding planned for next spring. Not anymore. Here's what you need to know up front. I have a severe peanut allergy, not the kind where I get a little itchy, the kind where my throat closes up and I stop breathing. Diagnosed when I was 6 after I nearly died at a birthday party. Carried an EpiPen ever since. Lisa knew this from date 1. I told her immediately because it's kind of important when someone's cooking for you or picking restaurants. She seemed understanding. Said her cousin had a shellfish allergy, so she got it. That was 2 years ago. Over time, I started noticing comments, little things. We'd be out to eat, and I'd ask the server about peanut ingredients. Lisa would sigh, roll her eyes. One time she said I was being dramatic. I let it slide, figured she was just tired or didn't understand the severity. Then about 6 months ago, the comments got more pointed. We were at her parents' house for dinner. Her mom made Thai food. I politely asked about peanuts in the sauce. Lisa laughed it off, told her mom I was paranoid about food, said I used my allergy as an excuse to be picky. I corrected her right there. Said no, it's a real medical condition. Her mom was great about it, showed me all the ingredients. But Lisa looked annoyed that I'd contradicted her. On the drive home, she went off, said I embarrassed her, made her look bad in front of her family. I was stunned. I just asked a basic safety question. We fought about it. She apologized eventually, said she was stressed about work. I accepted it and moved on, but it kept happening. At restaurants, she'd order dishes with peanut sauces and get irritated when I wouldn't try a bite. Said I was being difficult, that I made everything about my allergy. Her friends started making comments too. One of them joked at a party that I was high maintenance. Lisa laughed along. Didn't defend me. I started feeling crazy, like I was overreacting to a legitimate medical issue. 2 months ago, she brought home pad thai. I checked the container. Peanuts listed right there in the ingredients. I told her I couldn't eat it, obviously. She got mad, said I was being ridiculous, that trace amounts wouldn't kill me. I explained that yes, they absolutely could. That's what severe means. She called me dramatic and ate it herself while I made a sandwich. Red flag. I know. I should have walked away then, but we'd already sent save the dates. Wedding deposits were paid. Her parents were involved. It felt too complicated to end it over food disagreements. Stupid reasoning. I know that now. Last week she started talking about the honeymoon. Wanted to go to Thailand. I reminded her that Thai food is heavy on peanuts and it would be risky. She got defensive, said I was ruining everything, that I was using my allergy to control where we went. That word, control. Like my life-threatening condition was a manipulation tactic. We had a huge fight. I told her if she couldn't take my allergy seriously, we had a problem. She said I was being paranoid, that people with real allergies don't make such a big deal about it. Real allergies, like mine wasn't real. She apologized the next day, again. Said she'd been talking to her sister who said I was probably just anxious about food, not actually allergic. That adult onset anxiety can mimic allergy symptoms. I told her I'd had this allergy for 23 years. It wasn't anxiety. It was a documented medical condition with hospital records and everything. She seemed to accept that. Said okay, she believed me. I thought we were past it. Then tonight happened. I got home from work around 6:30. Lisa said she'd made dinner. Spaghetti with meat sauce. One of my safe meals. She knows I can eat it because she'd made it a dozen times before. I sat down. Took a few bites. It tasted a little different. Sweeter maybe. But I figured she'd adjusted the recipe. Third bite, my mouth started tingling. Fourth bite, my tongue felt thick. I stopped eating. Asked Lisa what she put in the sauce. She shrugged, said the usual stuff. Tomatoes, garlic, beef, herbs. My throat started feeling tight. I asked again. Specifically, if there was anything different. She was looking at her phone, said no, same as always. My throat was definitely swelling now. I stood up, went to grab my EpiPen from my bag in the hallway. That's when I heard her laugh. I turned around. She was watching me, smiling. "What's wrong?" she asked, not concerned. Amused. "Something's wrong with the food," I managed to say. My voice sounded weird, strained. "Is it?" She tilted her head. "Or are you just being dramatic again?" My throat was closing. I could feel it. This wasn't anxiety. This was the real thing. I got my EpiPen out. My hands were shaking. "You're really going to use that?" she asked. "Over spaghetti?" I stabbed it into my thigh. The needle went in. Immediate relief started, but not enough. My throat was still swelling. "I put peanut butter in the sauce," she said. Casual, like she was commenting on the weather. "Just a spoonful to prove you're faking." I stared at her, couldn't breathe enough to talk. "You're fine," she said. "See? You're not dying, you're just anxious." I wasn't fine. The EpiPen helps, but it's not a cure. It buys time. I needed a hospital. I pulled out my phone, called 911, could barely speak but managed to gasp out my address and anaphylaxis. Dispatcher said help was coming. Asked me to stay on the line, but I couldn't talk anymore. Lisa saw me on the phone. Her smile faded. "What are you doing?" I didn't answer, focused on breathing. Each breath was a struggle. "You're calling 911? Are you serious right now?" I nodded. Managed to pull out a plastic bag from the drawer, scooped some of the spaghetti into it. Evidence. "Why are you saving the food?" Her voice changed, less amused, more worried. I heard sirens, fast response time, thank God. Lisa started panicking. "This is ridiculous. You're fine. Tell them you're fine when they get here." I shook my head, walked to the door, opened it. 2 paramedics came in fast. "Anaphylaxis," I croaked, pointed to the used EpiPen I'd set on the table. They got to work immediately. Oxygen mask, checking vitals, asking questions I could barely answer. Lisa was hovering. "He's okay. He's just anxious. He does this." One of the paramedics looked at her. "Ma'am, his throat is severely swollen. This is a medical emergency." They got me on a stretcher. I grabbed the bag of spaghetti, held it up to the nearest paramedic. "Evidence," I whispered. "She poisoned it." "Peanuts. I'm allergic." The paramedic's face changed. He looked at Lisa, then back at me. "She put peanuts in your food knowing you're allergic?" I nodded. He took the bag. "We're taking this." Lisa followed us to the ambulance. "This is insane. He's overreacting." "Don't take that food. It's our dinner." The paramedic shut the ambulance door in her face. In the ambulance, they got an IV in, more epinephrine, steroids, antihistamines. One of the paramedics radioed ahead to the hospital. Mentioned the food sample and possible poisoning. The other one asked if I wanted police at the hospital. I nodded. Yeah, I absolutely did. We got to the ER. They rushed me back. Doctors took over. More medications, monitoring. My throat was still swollen, but the medications were working. I could breathe better. A nurse came in, asked what happened. I explained the whole thing. She wrote it all down, looked grim. "Your fiancé intentionally gave you an allergen?" "Yes. That's assault, possibly attempted murder, depending on how the DA sees it." Attempted murder. Those words made it real. 2 cops showed up about 20 minutes later. Young guy and an older woman. I told them everything, from the beginning. The months of comments, her dismissing my allergy, tonight's dinner, her confession. The older cop asked if I had any proof besides my statement. I told them about the food sample, that the paramedics had it, that it should still be in the ambulance. She left to go check on it. Came back 10 minutes later with the bag. Said they'd send it to the lab for testing, but it smelled like peanut butter, so she had no doubt. The male cop asked where Lisa was. I said probably on her way here. She'd been blowing up my phone. I showed him the texts. He radioed for units to watch for her at the ER. Said if she showed up, they'd take her into custody here. The cops stayed while I gave a formal statement, wrote down everything. Times, details, her exact words. They took photos of the used EpiPen, the IV in my arm, my medical bracelet that clearly states peanut allergy. About 30 minutes later, the male cop got a radio call. He stepped out, came back a minute later. "She just walked into the waiting room," he said. "Officers are bringing her back now." My stomach dropped. She actually came here. The female cop stayed with me. Her partner left to handle the arrest. 5 minutes later, I heard shouting from down the hall. Lisa's voice. "I have a right to see him. He's my fiancé." Then more voices. Cops, firm, professional. "Ma'am, you need to calm down. You're under arrest." "For what? I didn't do anything. Assault with a deadly weapon. You have the right to remain silent." Her voice got farther away. They were taking her out. The female cop looked at me. She's in custody. They're transporting her to the station now. I just nodded. Couldn't really process it. You did the right thing pressing charges, she said. This wasn't an accident. She admitted what she did. The doctors wanted to keep me overnight for observation. Anaphylaxis can have a second wave, biphasic reaction, needed to make sure I was stable. I finally looked at my phone, 15 missed calls from Lisa, dozens of texts. The first few were panic. Are you okay? Please answer. I'm sorry. Then they shifted. This is an overreaction. I barely put any in. You're making this a bigger deal than it is. Then anger. You're really going to the hospital over this? You're being dramatic. My sister was right. You're using this to control me. Then fear. Please don't tell anyone. We can work this out. Don't involve the police. This will ruin everything. Too late. I didn't respond to any of them. Put my phone on the bedside table and closed my eyes. About an hour later, a nurse came in, said there were police in the waiting room with someone in custody. They needed to confirm my identity and ask a few follow-up questions. I said okay. The older cop came in, said they'd arrested Lisa at the apartment. She'd resisted. Made a scene, claimed I was mentally ill and making everything up. But when they told her about the food sample and my medical records, she admitted to putting peanut butter in the sauce. Said she was trying to prove I was faking. The cop asked if Lisa had access to my medical records. I said no, but I'd told her about my allergy multiple times. She'd seen me use an EpiPen before. 3 months ago I'd had a minor reaction at a restaurant and had to use it. She was there. The cop wrote that down. She asked if Lisa had ever done anything like this before. I told her about the comments, the dismissiveness, the Thai food incident, all of it. She said they were charging Lisa with assault with a deadly weapon. That in our state, knowingly exposing someone to a life-threatening allergen qualifies. That the DA would probably add more charges. Lisa was being processed at the station. Bail hearing would be tomorrow morning. The cop gave me her card, said to call if I remembered anything else, that I'd need to come to the station when I was released to sign the formal complaint. I said I would. She left. I was alone again. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Is this about Lisa? Woman's voice, older. Her mom. Yeah. What did you do? Angry, accusatory. What did I do? She tried to kill me. Don't be dramatic. She made a mistake. She admitted she put peanut butter in my food. I have a severe allergy. She knew that. It wasn't a mistake. You're blowing this out of proportion. She was trying to help you get over your fear. It's not a fear, it's a medical condition. Lisa said you've been controlling and paranoid, that you use this allergy to manipulate her. I hung up, blocked the number. 2 minutes later, another call. Lisa's sister? You had her arrested? Are you kidding me? I hung up. Blocked her too. Then her dad called. I blocked him without answering. A group text came through. Lisa's friends, saying I was a horrible person, that I was destroying her life over a mistake, that I was vindictive and cruel. I left the group chat, blocked all the numbers. My phone finally went quiet. A doctor came in around 11 p.m., said my vitals were stable, throat swelling was down, I'd be okay. They wanted to keep me until morning just to be safe. I said fine. Wasn't like I wanted to go home anyway. I texted my brother, told him what happened. He called immediately. She did what? I explained again. That's attempted murder. That's what the nurse said. Where is she now? Jail. They arrested her. Good. You're pressing charges? Already did. Good. Don't back down. I don't care if her family calls. I don't care if she apologizes. She tried to kill you. I know. Do you need me to come there? No, I'm okay. They're keeping me overnight. I'm coming tomorrow. You shouldn't be alone dealing with this. Okay. We talked for a while. He was furious, kept saying he never liked Lisa, that she always seemed off. Wish he'd said something earlier, but I get it. You don't want to be that person. We hung up. I tried to sleep, couldn't really. Kept replaying the moment she told me what she'd done. The look on her face, like it was funny. Around 2 a.m., a nurse came in to check vitals. Asked if I was okay. I said physically yes. She said she'd seen the police report, that she was sorry this happened. That people don't take allergies seriously enough. I appreciated that. Morning came. Doctor cleared me around 9 a.m. Said to follow up with my regular doctor. Avoid allergens, obviously. Watch for any delayed reactions. I got dressed, called an Uber, Wasn't going back to the apartment yet. My brother was already on his way. Said he'd meet me at his place. I went to the police station first, signed the formal complaint, gave another statement. They said the lab results would take a few days, but the preliminary field test showed clear presence of peanut proteins in the sauce. The detective said Lisa was still in custody. Bail hearing was scheduled for later that day. Asked if I wanted a restraining order. I said yes. They filed emergency protective order. Judge approved it within the hour. Lisa couldn't contact me or come within 500 feet. The detective said she'd be informed when she was released. If she was released, I left the station. My brother called. He was at his apartment. I went there. He met me at the door, hugged me hard. I almost cried but held it together. We sat down. He made coffee. I told him everything in detail. "You can stay here as long as you need," he said. "I need to get my stuff from the apartment." "I'll go with you. We'll bring Dad too. Get everything in one trip." "She might be there." Restraining order. "She can't be there if you are. If she shows up, we call the cops." We went that afternoon. My brother, my dad, and two of my dad's friends. Big guys, just in case. Lisa wasn't there. The apartment was trashed. She destroyed some of my things, threw clothes everywhere, broke some dishes. We packed everything of mine we could find. Took about 3 hours. Loaded it into a truck. I left my key on the counter. The apartment lease was in my name only. I texted the landlord that I was breaking the lease due to a domestic violence situation. Explained briefly. Said I'd cover any penalties but couldn't stay there. He responded that evening. Said given the circumstances and police report, he'd waive the penalty and work with me on ending the lease early. Asked if Lisa would be staying. I said I didn't know and didn't care. We drove everything to a storage unit. I'd figure out next steps later. My brother took me back to his place. I crashed on his couch. Lisa's bail hearing happened while we were moving my stuff. My brother checked online. Bail set at 50 grand. She posted it. Got out that evening. But the restraining order was active. She couldn't contact me. That didn't stop her family. Her mom called my mom, screamed at her, said I was ruining Lisa's life, that I was vindictive and evil. My mom hung up on her. Her dad called my dad. Similar conversation. My dad told him if he called again, he'd regret it. Lisa's friends started posting on social media. Vague posts about false accusations and toxic men. I didn't respond. Didn't even look after the first few. My friends reached out, asked if the rumors were true. I told them yes, Lisa had deliberately given me peanuts, despite my allergy. That I'd almost died. That she'd been arrested. They were horrified, supportive. Several offered their couches if I needed a place to stay. The wedding venue called, checking on our status and whether we needed to adjust any plans. I told them to cancel everything. I'd forfeit the deposit. Didn't care. They asked why. I gave them a brief explanation. The woman on the phone went quiet, then said she'd refund the full deposit. That they couldn't in good conscience keep money after what happened. I thanked her. The caterer did the same. So did the photographer. Apparently word was spreading in the vendor community. Nobody wanted to be associated with someone who'd poisoned their fiancée. 2 weeks went by. Preliminary hearing was scheduled. I had to testify. Explain what happened. Lisa was there with a lawyer. Some attorney her family had hired. She wouldn't look at me. Her lawyer tried to argue it was an accident, that she didn't know how serious the allergy was. The prosecutor brought up the texts, her admission, the multiple times I'd told her about the severity. The judge wasn't buying the defense, bound her over for trial. Lisa started crying. Her mom was in the back row, glaring at me like I was the villain. I left the courthouse. My brother was waiting outside. How'd it go? Trial's happening. She's pleading not guilty, but they have everything. Good. We got lunch. I was starting to feel more normal. Less like everything was falling apart. My job had been understanding, gave me time off, said to take whatever I needed. I went back after 3 weeks. Coworkers were supportive. Nobody asked invasive questions. They just welcomed me back. Life started feeling manageable again. The trial took 4 months to actually happen, kept getting delayed. Lawyer stuff I didn't fully understand. When it finally came, it was fast. 2 days. Prosecution presented the evidence, the food sample, my medical records, the EpiPen, the paramedic testimony, the texts, her admission to the police. Defense tried to paint me as controlling, Said I'd been manipulating Lisa about my allergy, that she was trying to help me overcome an irrational fear. My medical records destroyed that narrative. Hospital visits going back 23 years, documentation from multiple doctors, allergy tests, everything. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty, assault with a deadly weapon. Sentencing was 2 weeks later. Judge gave her 3 years. She'd serve 18 months with good behavior, the rest suspended to probation, plus anger management and mandatory education about food allergies. Could have been worse, could have been better. Her family was outraged, screamed at the judge, had to be escorted out. I didn't feel victorious, just relieved it was over. Lisa went to county jail to start her sentence. I walked out of that courthouse and didn't look back. That was 18 months ago. She got out last month. Haven't heard from her. Protective order is permanent now. She's not allowed to contact me ever. Her family still posts about me sometimes. I'm the villain in their story, the man who destroyed their daughter's life over a misunderstanding. I know what happened. So do the courts. That's what matters. I'm alive. That's what counts.